This is the Underground. World News Live. Here on this January 17th, 2025. Yeah, what's going on? Thank you for the 5x5 there, Jenna. Gabe. John Boy. Giovanni. Thank you guys. Good to see everybody out there. MC. Tooch. Tacos. Thank you guys for sharing the stream as always. Judge with us. D. White in the house. Yellow Dog. Pixie. Thank you. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are staying warm. All that good stuff. I might as well just go ahead and put out the heads up again. If you guys don't know, we've got a huge swath of cold air coming in. Arctic air. It's going to be like negatives in some places. I'm sure most of you are aware of this, but if you haven't heard of it, prepare. Prepare. I don't know what your neck of the woods is like. I see people saying that they're expecting snow and all this other stuff in different places, north and south, in different states of where I'm at. We're not expected to get a whole lot, but let me tell you, I spent the better part of the past couple weeks digging myself out of the last storm. And what was so bad about it was the ice. Yeah, it was like, 2, 3, 4 inches thick in some places on the roads. And it was like, what the? You had no other choice but to bust out the pickaxe and just start swinging it until your hands went numb. And that was the name of the game. So, you don't want to be stuck in a situation like that and have no way to get out and get supplies, things of that nature. Get ready for these cold temps. I'm sure it's going to be freezing stuff up on people. And there's people that's going to die, unfortunately, in the cold. So I pray to God that everyone that calls out to him, he answers and can save. But I just already know there's going to be homeless people and things of that nature that die in this cold snap coming up, because it's going to be bad. All right. Check the feeds one more time here. Make sure everything's looking good. Yeah, all right. Yeah. If you've got anything you want to get to me, dabu7@yahoo.com. The email, or at me at dabu77, as the cat slave just did. And of course, yes, they can do weather control. Yes, they can. Weather is a weapon at this point. Heavily manipulated. We've proven it in many different ways. They can control the wind. They can heat up the ionosphere. They can create storms. They can kill storms, which they rarely do. But yeah, it's one big show. That's for sure. Now, check this out. I'm going to start off here with some space events. If you don't know, Jeff Bezos is in the business of rockets as well, just like Elon Musk. And they've been trying to launch. And you can see right there, they got it to take off, but they didn't catch it like we had over here with Elon. So again, this is the second time they've done this. Starship booster, catching it with the chopsticks. Thank you guys for the quick 5x5s. Yeah, it was a quick minor blip. So they catch this thing. Let me play this real quick.
Just like this silver flare coming back to the once again, we are standing by for attempting to catch the booster at the tower. This would be the second power catch.
Landing burn. Seeing 13 engines.
Booster now hovering as it aligns with the tower for catch.
Booster coming in. Get ready for that boom, Pete.
Down to 3 engines.
Booster ready for shutdown. Negative, I caught the booster.
All right, now I see the comments, fake X and all this other stuff. Yeah. Yeah. We're lied to left and right, and we need a righteous someone, man, to get into a power position badly. I was going to say, as this thing was coming down through the sky, that, I mean, it almost looks fake. And I looked down and I seen that comment. And then catching it. Now, look, here's the thing about this. I would rather go down and just watch one of these events and film it and see it and, like, put it to rest. Like, okay, look, we went here. We seen it with our own eyes. All this is crazy. This stuff seems. It's not CGI. And to be honest with you, I think that we're capable of doing this. I think we're capable of doing what you just saw. It's not the first time, and they've had disasters before this. I've been watching this for a while. Some of the stuff when it comes to up in space, subspace, you know, a lot of it questionable. We're constantly lied to here. But I think that this is like obsolete. I think we're about to see an unveiling of technology that's going to change the game. And not only is it going to change the game once it's unveiled, you're going to look back and you're going to realize how much of this was just a show with these rockets. Right? MPNY, thank you for the super chat. Do you feel what I'm saying? We're on the cusp of something huge about to happen. Greer has been saying it. You call it disclosure or whatnot. They're about to come out and give information connected to what they call these black sites. And these black sites have been running what they're calling illegal operations, which they're said to be all over the world, spread out in different groups. But there's people that are in these groups that have been a part of illegal operations that really did not want to be, and they want out. And that's the storyline being pitched by Greer. Thank you, Jeff. And he says, remember, the other day when I played that, he said within 72 hours, okay, within 3 days, this was all going to begin to come out. So this means, like, I didn't see nothing come out today that was huge. I'm expecting that tomorrow, potentially, we hear something really big. Or they're going to wait literally to the last second, like right up the 19th, 20th here. Which if it isn't tomorrow, it has to be, right? So remember, like, these announcements are going to be made. And they're going to state that there's technologies. I hope you guys understand this, because that's what Greer was saying. He says that it's odd that he said it the way he did. He goes, the alien life actually is secondary to all this. The extraterrestrials. And the one thing that I really find bothersome about him is he never wants to connect them to the fallen. He's playing right into the game, the theatrics, the whole thing of aliens. I mean, he says aliens a million times. But, you know, our good books tell us these things have been here. They landed on Mount Herman. They came into the women of this planet. Many stories have told us they're here. And I know this. Anyone that knows the truth knows this. They're here. And he's planting the seeds of, they're coming from like deep space and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that there's not life out there, which I think he's privy to a lot of this stuff. But man, they're pitching this whole thing of a fake alien invasion, which may happen. But who's going to be pulling it? It's definitely all the major governments of the world and no one else. It seems like they're trying to put the blame on this black ops group. Okay? And until I see some faces and some people come out, which they keep telling us it's going to happen, I guess anything can happen. But I think that the thing with anti-gravitics and propulsion is going to be huge. That does away with rockets. When you've got stuff like that and you make it public and now it's known worldwide, it changes the game. Greer said it was going to change. It's going to be the biggest thing to happen technologically ever. Ever. It would change civilization. It would change everything. But he said that it's double-edged. It's like a double-edged sword, that this technology can be used for good and for bad. Meaning that just like nuclear, it can be used to make power, which is good, people need to consume, and things of that nature. And then it can be used for a weapon. Same thing with this. I think they're saying that the technology could be utilized big time. Here's one for you. At some point, one of these drones is going to come down out of the sky. And when it does, then we can back engineer it. Somebody's got to do something. Got to see what they're working with here, with these things that are outrunning our military aircraft. We're going to find out what kind of tank, battery life, or fuel tank or system is on it. And how it's outrunning all the rest of the aircraft. Then we should be able to determine how it's doing everything. Like a lot, just to be able to find one down drone. It's on. And it's going to happen. They're not perfect. Things happen. They just do. Now, here's another one. SpaceX actually had a lot of debris go through the sky in this huge event. A lot of people seen this. It just so happens that this was, what they say, number 33. I mean, come on. So yeah, we'll play this clip right here. Maybe some of you guys seen this. Flight number 33.
Hurry, get a picture! Ready, get a picture? Ready?
Good, it's about to fall on top of us.
See it. Guys, oh my gosh! What is this? Are we gonna fucking die? Look up at me, Melissa. Right there! Right here! Shane, what is that?
That's crazy. I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Oh my god, I gotta FaceTime. Oh my god.
That's 100% something burning up the atmosphere.
That's wild, man.
Junk or something. That's the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I got it.
Man.
Look at the sky now! Guys, picture of that. I am getting lost. Someone's gotta be down.
You just never know. Just like that right there. So these things could come burning up in the atmosphere anytime. Any of his satellites could, but this one, that launch number 33. burns up. Wanted to point out where some of the most least affordable places to go to are going to be here in this country at this point in time as we're transitioning from Biden to Trump. Currently, the least affordable place in the country to live is going to be San Jose, California, followed by New York, New York, then Boston, San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles, bunch of Calis on there, and Seattle, DC, Miami and Florida, and Portland, top 10 there, but some of them not too much of a shocker. Let's talk about AI real quick, because apparently a lot of the people here in this country, well, let's look at the percentage. 49% think that it's unlikely that AI will impact jobs. It's crazy. 36 think that it will. It's likely. So that's the difference there. More than, well, about half of the population kind of thinking it's not going to do anything. It's not going to impact anything. And it already is. And it's getting scary. It's only going to accelerate going up to 2030. And what do we have here? We have proof now that AI facial recognition software is fueling a rise in false arrests. So they're saying that people that have been arrested many times now, they're saying that this has popped up. But they're saying that most departments aren't required to disclose or document its use here in terms of facial recognition software. But among 23 departments with available records, 15 across 12 states arrested suspects based solely on AI matches, often violating internal policies. And then they go on to say, one report called unverified AI match, 100% match, while another claimed to be unquestionably the suspect. And it was wrong. At least 8 people had been wrongfully arrested due to this thus far. So I don't care if it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, they're stacking up. They don't have this everywhere. So just in the places that they've got it, they're using AI on the cameras. The camera is falsely identifying someone. So say you're walking into the department store and they got a camera on you, and that camera falsely IDs you as someone. I mean, that's kind of crazy. Security going to come running up on you. Who knows what's going to go down? And when it says match confidence 100%, like 100%, when it gives that match confidence, they're going in and they're believing that you're a criminal, that you're whoever it's saying you are. It could be bad. And this ain't good. This ain't good. I don't trust it. I don't trust none of it. We seen the last time in the experiments that they did that AI got defensive and started to lie. It started to defend itself. And it started to lie straight up, big time. So, I don't know. The stuff that it can do is kind of scary. And when it can turn on its creators and start lying and making stuff up, yeah. It's scary, man, where this is all going. When you think about it. All right, if you guys missed this was a big story, something that happened today. Well, since last night, overnight, a disaster unfolding in California. A raging fire there breaks out at the Moss Landing power plant. And they're saying that it's a natural gas fire generation plant with thousands of lithium batteries for energy storage. And as you probably already know, the fires that involve lithium batteries, they're hard to put out and they can burn uncontrollably for days. So, no way to sugarcoat it. They say it's a disaster. Now, right before we went live tonight, someone was sending me information that lives very close to there in my emails, and they were sending me images and updated local news updates, and they said that they thought that they had everything out, but it rekindled. It sparked back up, and you could see flames. You could see, as long as the sun is shining on an area like that, it can do that. The sun is notorious for resparking fires. I've seen it happen. If they don't have it out all the way. And that's the tricky part there in that situation when they're fighting a fire like that. And I don't know what else was burning up in it, but that's pretty toxic smoke that was coming out of there, billowing. So they ordered an evacuation of the areas all around it. Anyone else that was outside the perimeter but near it, they told to shelter in place. Thank you, Dame, for the super chat. They told people to go in and tape up their windows and to take damp cloths and things like that and put it around any cracks or any ventilation, to turn off your air conditioner, any fans, anything that can pull that poison into the house. So, a pretty serious situation here. So you got the big fires going on that still are not contained. They say it could take weeks still to get them fully out. We don't know what kind of winds are going to kick back up, shift things around. I warned of some of those other places catching fire. The testing grounds where they were testing weapons for years. The grounds are contaminated. So if a fire rolls through there, it's going to release toxic smoke. And here's a look at this incident that took place. The shots that I seen that were sent to me, almost it showed somewhere in this vicinity a fire kicking back up. So, for what it's worth here, man, I'm sure most people, I would like to think, that live near something like this, if something like this goes down, that they would hear about it, they would know about it, but I don't know, the toxic smoke, it can travel for hundreds of miles and then get mixed up in the clouds and then be dropping precipitation. Anyone downwind from this stuff really needs to check out, what's going on here. If this is like west of you directly, by any means within a few hundred miles, I'd be concerned because that plume, again, super toxic. And they don't never alert anyone, downwind that much. I've seen them shut down the rad meters before in the years past. Los Alamos, when it caught fire, same kind of situation. The grounds were contaminated. When it burned up, it was releasing toxic smoke, and all the rad detectors across the country went down. The website went offline. How convenient. When it came back up, it tried to show that everything was fine, but they're idiots because there's other sites and other places out there tracking things, and they were showing spikes on all their stuff. And 3 days later, they had to show something for that gap, and they showed that a plume went through there. So yeah, they will cover these things up if they can. I'll look at East Palestine, all these other things, man. So just a heads up, man. We're not liking to see stuff like this. If they're trying to tell you that a plant like that's coming to town, I'd be like, man, BS hits again. Kind of admitting that they were burning stuff. Like this girl here saying she liked the smell of burning leaves. And a homeless guy that was trying to burn something to stay warm. But others are saying that no, that's not even in the vicinity of where they started. Yeah, people were being stupid and lighting fires in these high winds when they probably shouldn't. But are they ones that went out to where this whole thing started in those regions? Remember, there was a handful of guys that was up there meditating. They came running down off the mountain, and it just looked bad, and they got stopped and questioned and called arsonists, and it wasn't the case. They checked out to be telling the truth in the situation. But we'll see what happens here. If this is going to fall on some people, which will be interesting, or downed power lines, which counties have already sued places for that reason when it hasn't even been proven either way yet, which is crazy. The fire's not even out. It could still cause more damage. I don't know, man. This is said to be the costliest natural disaster in history, 250 billion or something stupid, and it's still going. It's still destroying things. So it's just continuing. Razzie, much love. I appreciate it. I really do. Prayers going out to anyone out there affected by this. You've seen all them neighborhoods that were burnt out, Altadena, and all that stuff. I know it's some kind of, people feel some kind of way when it's they hear that it's a certain rich celebrity that has 10 houses, their house gets hit, and maybe they're questioned or involved in pedo rings and this and that. There's suspicious stuff that goes down. But all in all, man, I think you have to start looking at where you're at this point, and you always have to, you got to remember these events, that they can create a firestorm like this. Although the evidence shows that the fire from the trees didn't even get to the neighborhoods, which is the big head scratcher here. How you got all these houses burnt down to the ground, and the fire didn't get in there from the trees. It's just, yes, there's a blaze and all this other stuff, but man, I've seen a lot of suspicious stuff here. Look at this one. Play this.
But still
Surprised
standing.
they even covered
The van.
this.
We've all seen the devastation these fires have caused, and that includes Associated Press photographers who've documented the horrors from the front lines. One photo especially captured the hearts of many, and it was a VW van, the car marked by time, but still standing.
The van that you see behind me is called Azul by its owner. It's just a splash of color among, a sea of gray devastation. It also seems to have struck a chord with people. I think it gives people a little bit of hope.
So there you go. Out of everything around, a sea of gray. You've got one vehicle sitting there, just absolutely not touched, and it just so happens to be just like the trash cans and everything else that were blue that did not get touched. And then somebody had also pointed out there was a guy that was crying. He walked up. He was walking. He walks up and he's basically trying to explain the devastation that's going on all around him. Every single neighbor across the street, catty corner, and then his house. And he starts crying, saying that he doesn't deserve it. And someone had said that, well, it's kind of odd. They don't know what color the other houses were, but his house was blue. And I'm just like, it's crazy. See it all over the place. There's something to it. There's something there. The evidence is all over. But yeah, there it is again. Blue vehicle, just untouched. Why all the other ones are melted down. Melted down. Like melted. Dude's walking up and picking up melted metal and stuff. It's crazy. So, and thank you, Doug, there for gifting all the memberships, man. For everyone that received them, welcome to the underground. Is that Nikki? Jedi. Thank you. Much love, all you guys. Port, Phil. As you can see here, this says that people are going around armed in neighborhoods because they don't trust what's going on. And this is reminiscent to what the North Koreans or Koreans did. Koreans here in the United States did to their businesses back in the riots of 92. They were on the rooftops and they had guns and all this other stuff. But apparently in Altadena, these people are sick of it and they're not evacuating. And they're going to try to protect their homes. I'll run this clip so you can see.
30 homeowners who have lost everything in the wildfires are defying evacuation orders to protect their properties from looters. Officials say dozens of residents have chosen to ignore official orders to evacuate and are taking the necessary actions to protect their property into their own hands.
KTLA's Mary Beth McDade joins us live in Altadena with more. MB.
Hello there, you guys. Yes, we spoke to one homeowner who says they are staying behind to protect their homes from any looters, but also from any flare-ups. She said a bunch of the dads have actually been going around the neighborhood the past few days. Sorry, it's so dry out here. The past few days, and they are stomping out some flames that flare up. And we also talked to her about all the different disaster preps that she did that are really paying off for her and her neighbors. And we do live in California after all, and there could be earthquakes, there could be mudslides, and I didn't think it could happen like this, but there were fires. When Eve Anna Manley moved to California, her Altadena neighbor taught her to be prepared for disasters. And he had like 55-gallon drums of water. He had a reloading center. He put in the whole house generator, and I followed after. I learned from him. I went to CERT classes with him. She also redid her wood shake shingle home with concrete shingles. And she has Starlink to help keep her connected to the internet. Because Manley's home survived the Eaton fire, and because of all her preparations, she chose not to evacuate and is now helping neighbors who also chose not to go. I can do laundry for other people. That's another thing I'm doing, and cook bacon and eggs for people, and let them have a hot shower, because none of these people around here have hot water or laundry running. They want to stay and protect their homes from any flare-ups and from any looters. Manley says her and her dogs are prepared if anyone tries to come into her house. I do have firearms, and I've been, calling my friends, to make sure I know how to legally exist with them. She says her and her neighbors, who've dubbed themselves the Stayers, know if they pass through the roadblocks, they won't be allowed back. And let me tell you, there are many checkpoints. Manley and her fellow Stayers had been getting supplies dropped off. Someone could meet us at the National Guard point at the end of the street and hand us whatever we had asked for, right?
Like food, supplies.
Yeah, bananas, for instance, and pizzas, and just bottled water, generators, gasoline. However, those dropped-offs have been stopped. So it's a hard...
They've been stopped. Can you believe this? Look, there's something huge going on here. I have people sending me personal messages and video clips saying, look, they're stopping us from going into our homes, and everything is perfectly fine. There's no fire around. There's no threat. It's them pass through the area, and National Guard is stopping people from going to their homes. And people are questioning it big time, why? What is going on here? This is martial law type crap. You just heard what this lady said. If you didn't, what she said was she stayed, did not listen to the orders. If they leave and go past the checkpoint, a military checkpoint, they are not allowed to ever go back to their house again. So they were having people show up at these checkpoints and hand them food, like get them supplies, hand them over. They were allowing it. Now they're not. They cut it off totally. So they won't let no one interact with these people that are living in there. This is crazy. This is obviously some kind of huge move to take over this whole area. It doesn't work if you've got... imagine you want to take out the whole neighborhood. You need the whole region for your plans. But peppered throughout it, some places, I don't know, with blue roofs, are still sitting there. And you've got people we're not leaving, or you've got full-blown streets or areas that were not touched. And what do you do about that if you're the bad guys? They're kind of in a weird position right now. So, I don't know. I feel like a target is on all the rest of these people, as you can see. This is weird that the military's down there stopping people from going to their homes. They should be stopping looters that are going around trying to rob people's homes, not stopping the freaking people, not setting the stage to where no one's going to be there and looters can slide right on in. It's ridiculous. It's pathetic, man. So I see an operation going on here, is what I see. Something ain't right. And we don't know because they came out on TV, on television, and said it. The plan is to fill that whole area with apartment type buildings. Rent. To make people rent. So all these people that had houses that they owned, No more. It's all gone. The new option, if they want to live in that area, is to rent. So, man, this all goes right along with this whole plan to revitalize the area, this Marshall Plan, as Newsom said. If you guys had missed it, here.
With all of that and all that opportunity and that pride and spirit that comes from not just hosting those 3 iconic games and venues, but also the opportunity, I think, to rebuild at the same time. And that's why we're already organizing a Marshall Plan. We already have a team looking and reimagining LA 2.0, and we're making sure everyone's included, not just the folks on the coast, people here that were ravaged by this disaster.
You just said you're organizing a Marshall Plan for the rebuilding of California. What is that Marshall Plan? Tell us about this Marshall Plan.
We're just starting to lay out. I mean, we're still fighting these fires. So we're already talking to city leaders. We're already talking to civic leaders. We're already talking to business leaders and nonprofits. We're talking to labor leaders. We're starting to organize how we can put together a collection of individuals on philanthropy for recovery, how we can organize the region, how we can make sure that we are seeking federal assistance for the Olympics more broadly, but also federal assistance for the recovery efforts, and how we can galvanize the community with folks that love this community to really develop a mindset so that at scale we're dealing with.
It's word salad. They are just like Kamala. They are taught to speak a bunch of gibberish. Okay? And he is a total snake. And yes, he does look giddy, and he looks happy, and he looks like they're ready to get it on with this smart LA 2028 plan. That's what it seems like to me. It seems like, I mean, it's all drawn, dude. It takes time, right? Like this isn't like in response to the fires. No, that takes time. You have to have meetings. People have to think this up. They have to draw it up. They have to write it up. It all has to be finalized. All this takes time, a lot of time. Okay, over time. Okay, not just boom. As soon as the fire hits, oh, guess what we've got? We've got this Marshall Plan, Smart LA 2020. Like, get what? Like, you already got the PDFs for it and all this. Like, dude, get out of here. This is setup. Criminal negligence. Talked about the reservoir, talked about the call for cutting money, fire hydrants not having the water. Here's more. Apparently, LA firefighters took 45 minutes to respond to the Pacific Palisades blaze, and it could have been contained, they're saying. And that right there is nuts. You're telling me what? They could have been there 45 minutes earlier and stopped this? Like, apparently that's the case here.
All right, it's been exactly a week since the massive Palisades wildfire broke out in Los Angeles. It's still only 17% contained, and it could take weeks, as we just heard from the fire chief, to get under control. News Nation spoke exclusively to 2 people who believe they were among the very first to spot the devastating fire as it started. They gave us video showing just how quickly it spread. And tonight they have questions about what they believe was a slow response by the city of Los Angeles. Joining us now is News Nation investigative correspondent Rich McHugh. Rich, they claim they didn't see any response until 45 minutes after they called 911.
It's hard to believe, Elizabeth, but I wouldn't have believed it either until I saw the video. You know, Michael Valentine, he's a former U.S. attorney for 8 years under Kamala Harris. He and his wife, they live at the top of Pacific Palisades, right next to this ridge line where the fire broke out. He says his wife called at 10:29 a.m. Tuesday morning. That's when they first saw it, and they didn't see anybody come for at least about a half an hour, 45 minutes before they dropped some water. Take a look. It is 10:34 a.m. Tuesday, January 7th. These are some of the first images of the start of the Palisades fire. Describe what you saw.
An intense plume of smoke that was rising and moving very fast. It was black in some areas and white in other areas, but you could see it was moving quickly.
Well, it's not going to play the rest of that video, but maybe it will.
2 minutes later, the smoke plume grows. No sign of anyone fighting the fire at this point. The fire isolated on the ridge behind the home of longtime Pacific Palisades resident Michael Valentine. He documented it all on video, giving News Nation an exclusive look of where it started and how quickly it grew. By 10:50, the plume had spread considerably, twice as large. 8 minutes later, the size of the fire seems to have doubled yet again. Still nobody fighting the fire. At 11:13 a.m., nearly 45 minutes after Michael's wife called in the fire, you see a chopper come through. At 11:23, a helicopter comes in, begins to dump water on it. But at this point, the fire is massive and moving quickly down this ridgeline.
Wow. So you can see right there, and thank you, Bear. Thank you, Little Bear. You can see right there. He said many times that this thing doubled in size. And they're wondering, what's up with the response? Why did it take so long? That it just kept doubling in size. And that by the time this one helicopter gets there to dump a little bit of water on it, it's done. It's out of control. It's past what that helicopter can do. Come on. That is highly suspect. I'd be asking the same question, knowing that you guys called and I don't know, there seemed to have been no response, but I don't know. Again, the fire is one thing. We need not lose sight of this. The houses burning down are a whole nother. I have another clip I showed on the live stream. It was in Brentwood of a house going up in flames, but there was not a single tree, a shrub, anything around it on fire. There was nothing on fire around it. And you guys seen it. I played it right here. How did it get on fire? It's just like all the other houses that got burnt up in Altadena. When you look at the entire neighborhood, all of the trees around the entire neighborhood are all standing. And all the trees going down the middle of the streets. How? See, that doesn't make any sense. Yes, there was massive blazes. Yes, there was wildfires that created massive amounts of smoke. But just go look at the evidence. Look at the picture. It didn't reach Altadena. It didn't reach the homes. It didn't sweep and blaze through the whole thing like they're trying to say. It just didn't. It did not. Just look at the images again. It's like foolery. It's like illusions. They're trying to play on people. Just look at it. Cars melted in the street and crap. Trees still standing. This is ridiculous. As long as you've got one big fire though to blame it on, you can hit the area. If you've got it going through the region, one big fire, and it's coming up close to an area, you could do this. You get away with it. You get away with doing what they do. So Biden claims that climate change is responsible for these fires.
Right now, the existential threat of climate change has never been clearer. Just look across the country, from California to North Carolina. That's why I signed the most significant climate and...
Yep. And I can't stand it. Can't stand him. So glad that this was his final... get him out of here. Just a couple more days now. You'll never have to at least he's out of here. If you're trying to find some silver linings or anything, any bright side to any of this, at least he'll be out of the picture. We won't have to see his face or hear him anymore. And he will not be the face leading this country, destroying this country. It's been bad. Look what Illinois is doing. Illinois, tomato, however you say it. Well, the Democrats there are decriminalizing sex work, meaning prostitution's going to be all over the place. And they're saying it's poised to get even worse at this point. And you're seeing these areas do this, sanctuary city type places. I talked about Chicago, New York. Might as well throw LA in there. These are places that they're about to target in these sweeps. I tweeted this out earlier or posted it on X. The breaking word tonight is that these teams are going to be heading out like immediately. As soon as the inauguration goes down, like that day, these raids, these strike team raids, are going to be going down across the country and specifically targeting the biggest key sanctuary cities first. So we're going to see action right at the gate, man. And do not forget that the 20th is also a high satanic day. And it kicks off the biggest week that they have. It's a full week holiday. And it starts on the 20th. Yeah, man, you better know what's going on. It's a wicked game in a wicked world, man. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against powerful wickedness in high places. Spiritual wickedness. It's all about temptation, man. This place, you got to overcome it. But these demons that are in control are all about the material. They're all about all of it. And they control people with it. Guess who's back? If I could have fit this in the headline, I would have. This is kind of scary. This is real scary. Bill Gates is back. And if you guys don't know, he just had a meeting with Trump in Mar-a-Lago for several hours. Just a handful of them. Trump and somebody and like Bill Gates and somebody, like 4 of them. For hours talking about all these things. And Gates basically says it was a very intriguing and interesting conversation. And you got to remember, Trump was Mr. Warp Speed. He started the whole thing. Got it going, warp speed. So, listen to Gates here.
Have you met with Donald Trump since the election?
Yeah, I had a chance to go have a long and actually quite intriguing dinner with him.
What did you discuss? What was intriguing?
Well, we touched on a lot of things. It was over 3 hours. To my surprise, it was, just he and I, his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, and the person who helps manage things for me, Larry Cohen. So the 4 of us sat there, and it was quite wide-ranging. Global health's the area that I work in, and such amazing things have happened and can happen there. I spoke a lot about HIV and that the foundation's literally working on a cure for that. We're at an early stage, and so he, in the COVID days, accelerated the vaccine innovation. So I, was asking him if maybe the same kind of thing could be done here, and we both got, I think, pretty excited about that. We talked about polio, where we're very close to getting that done, but if you stop, it'll spread back. And so I explained why it's been tough in Pakistan, Afghanistan. We've had cases show up in Gaza. We have cases in Africa. And he was fascinated to hear what he could do to maximize the chance that during the next 4 years, that incredible milestone will be achieved. I felt like he was, energized and, looking forward to helping to drive innovation you know, I was frankly impressed with how well he showed a lot of interest in the issues I brought up.
Did you hear that? Did you just hear Mr. Gates that should be getting tried for treason and be getting thrown in jail? He sat down with Trump and Mar-a-Lago, and Gates is just pleased and happy. Was rather impressed. Very impressed. It was his words. Kev Barr coming through. Let me unpack this for a second. And thank you again, Kev Barr, for that. That's appreciated, man, to the fullest, brother. Thank you for that super chat. Where we at? Top of the hour. Take a second. Say much love to everybody out there real quick. Thank everyone for joining us here. Underground World News Live here on this January 17th, 2025. Just getting ready to get cracking into some of the heavier stuff. If you got anything you need to get to me, dabu7@yahoo.com is the email. Try to check it along with the chat. And a much love to all. This is not good. When Bill Gates resurfaces and it's at Mar-a-Lago and he comes slithering out and he's like, "Oh, I'm very impressed," you know, with Trump. All right, so Trump is Mr. Warp Speed, right? Yeah, that's what he is, and he proudly admits it. He wears it like as a badge. Okay, so Mr. Warp Speed is very into what Gates is saying. So what did Gates just say? Gates was wondering, because he said it. He said Trump helped push everything along quickly when it came to COVID. And he did. That's why we call him Mr. Warp Speed. Okay? What did he mention? He mentioned putting out jabbies for polio and HIV. Okay? And accelerating them. Just remember, these guys sat down, had a talk. They're talking about pushing things, making money. You know it. And this man who's on film talking about depopulating the planet, he's on film saying it. This man that is on film putting the oral vaccines down the throats of young African kids when he's not even a licensed doctor to do it. This man, time and time again, has put the evidence out there on camera to put him away. And it doesn't even seem to matter to Trump. Where's all the Trumpers at on this one? This is top of the list. Top of the list. Should be going to jail for treason. All of them right up here at Fauci. All of them. But what? But what? Nothing's going to happen. I told you when this started to all go down, it's going to get called out. And it's getting called out. So this is fake as crap to sit there and say you're going to do all these things. And go. This is just like Hillary for prison, man. This is just like Hillary for prison. Sell a bunch of t-shirts, make a bunch of money, and then when it come down to doing it, nothing. Let her walk. Never even attempted. So nothing's going to happen with Gates. You can never expect Trump to pursue him, go after him, put him in jail, anything at this point. It seems like he's a major business partner. And they just had a huge business meeting over dinner. And as far as Gates could say, at his own words, he's very impressed. This is scary because I feel the next event's about to happen. I told you it's going to happen on Trump's watch. Bill Gates warned 5 years ago and said the next one's going to come. And you'll care then. He gave a smirk and laughed about it. He gave us several warnings. In his Stephen Colbert interview, he said 5 years, which is 2025. Here he is. Comes crawling out of the hall 2025, right on cue, and he's having meetings with Mr. Warp Speed and coming out very impressed. Man, this is as screwed up as it gets. How's this world ever going to change when the highest level criminals are just... I mean, what's your excuses? There is none for this. This is like a wanted top 10 man in terms of treason and going against the people, crimes against humanity, man. But yeah, you know, oh yeah, Bill Gates just loves some Deagle numbers. He'd love to get them. That's out of his own mouth. Well, so I don't want to ever hear that Trump's going after this or that. The creme de la creme here, in terms of the wanted, he's dining with. When are you going to wake up and see this whole thing? This is the big world stage, man. How many cycles, I think you sailor? How many cycles you going to have to live through this? How many times? I guess everybody's different, but at some point you've got to wake up and see this illusion of choice. I guess it was going to be hardest for the people that fell into the Trump thing. It really was, because it's just the way that it is. It's set up. Everybody just jumps into it blindly, not even knowing about anything or what they're really supporting or anything. Just they're on the chump train. Just going with the flow because it's the popular, cool thing to do. And it helps when the opposite of that is, you know, Biden and Kamala and them tearing our life apart. You can't be rooting for that, so you root against it. And there has to be somebody to fill that gap, and they made it Donald Trump to root for, against the beast. But that's just not the way that it is. It's an illusion. It's called the left-right paradigm. Hegelian dialect. There's some homework for you. And you'll see that Rothschild still runs the game. Oh, yeah. You know that Klaus Schwab is grandson bloodline Rothschild? His mother is Rothschild. His father, Fred, got with her and they had Klaus Schwab. But if it had been the other way around, his last name would be Rothschild. Yeah. This whole world is a setup, man. And they've been controlling this for a long time. And they still do. They control everything. All aspects of it, man. Russia, China, America, it's all controlled. Israel, all of it. Every bit of it. The last guys that were not a part of the show, they've went out there and they've eliminated. You know, like Gaddafi, for instance. All right, and thank you, Meat Puppet, for the coffee and the FYI. He says, not sure if you guys know here, but I just heard that Amazon was hacked, so people should change their passwords. Much love. Hey, good looking out. I appreciate that. I appreciate the support. Thank you for the coffee. Man. I get to this point sometimes where there's so much crazy stuff going on that story after story after story after story after story here, just like last stream, they get crazier and crazier and crazier. But, I mean, you think, how can you top this? I mean, it's a charade. The world's a stage. It's like, well, what's the sense even of any of it? of anything else. Like, it's all a charade, man. Anyhow, you heard it here. Keep it pushing here. We got Vivek Ramaswamy announcing a run for governor of Ohio. Nah. This slimy. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on him. We exposed him already. He's a good speaker, slick speaker, and all that. And thank you, Soul Foundry, man. Much love, brother. Thank you. He's invested in all this stuff. He's crook. He's just like the rest of them. He's part of the club. And remember, they backed the whole plan of bringing in all these people, Indians it was specifically, to replace American workers because they thought that they were lazy, basically, and all this and that. And it was cheaper. But, yeah, so Ramaswamy could pop up running Ohio. Now, here's a pretty crazy one. If you guys missed this, this is Georgia Senator Colton Moore apparently gets arrested after trying to enter the Georgia Capitol during a joint session on Thursday. He was apparently banned last year after he made insulting remarks about late House Speaker David Ralston. So, he shows up, and basically, when it happens, the guy in charge pitches him into the floor. It's pretty crazy. Here, I'll play the clip. And then he gets hauled off by the cops.
Stop. That's it. It's gone too far. It has gone too far. I have an obligation to be in that room. I represent 200,000 people in Northwest Georgia who duly elected me to be here today.
And that didn't matter. Put him in cuffs and hauling him out of there. Yeah. Pitched him on his head and then hauled him out of there. So, I mean, like, what good does it do to have a senator or any representative that can't represent you? Do you need to replace him at this point? Does there need to be something? I mean, if they're saying that he was banned because of some comments he made before, but then again, this comes down to a freedom of speech type thing. I don't know if he was elected, as long as he's not threatening anyone or anything like that. I thought that was pretty crazy. He just gets pitched, tripped, and thrown to the floor and then arrested and hauled out of there when he's the one elected to represent the people. Like, that's the people's house. No, it's not anymore. It's been taken over by tyrants, and the cops are just, they're there doing their job. They're just hauling, I guess, whoever has the command in there, inside that building, they're telling the cops, do this stuff. Skip this. So Biden gave a farewell address, and I'm not going to bore you with that crap. I will tell you, though, that he commuted the sentences of 2,500 Americans that were convicted of nonviolent drug offenses. So that was a bunch, and it sets a record. It breaks a record he just set here recently. It's the largest single-day act of clemency in modern history. So they also apparently forgave the student debt for another something billions of dollars. So what that means is the taxpayers will be responsible for covering that, cutting all these people's debt. And it's not everybody's. A ton of the regular everyday people out there didn't get theirs cut. But all these people up in the federal realms and all these, it's a setup, dude. This whole thing is a setup. It's a scam. And most of you people listening probably didn't get your debt removed or anything like that. It was just all their people, and the taxpayer anyway is going to have to pay for it. That's all it means. It isn't forgiven. So they're doing all kinds of stuff on the way out. I mean, he's still got a couple days on the clock, so we could wake up tomorrow and he'd done something else on a Saturday. Or like literally Monday morning, last minute Monday. Isaac, man, thank you for the coffees. That's right, FJB, and he can kick rocks. Get him out of here. Exit the stage. We have all these meetings going down and confirmations and like farewells, like all this stuff. And this was the last time that Blinken was going to have a presser. And apparently some journalist was out there just trying to ask questions again. And they attack him and take him out of there.
2 or 3 people. You pontificate about a free press. You pontificate about a free press. You are hurting me. You are hurting me. You are hurting me. I'm asking questions after being told by Matt Miller that he will not answer my questions until I'm asking questions. Wasn't the point of the May 31st statement to block the ICJ orders? You blocked the ICJ orders.
Please, sir, respect the process.
Oh, respect the process. Respect the process. Well, everybody from Amnesty International, to the ICJ is saying that Israel's doing genocide and extermination, and you're telling me to respect the process. Criminal, why aren't you in the Hague? Why are?
Look at that, man, hauling him out of there like that, like. Heidi, thank you. I appreciate it all. Thank you to the fullest. The man trying to just ask some questions and like they don't like it, and that's what you get. Lolita, thank you for the coffee. Oh man. And much love. God bless. Yeah, just wanted to show you how some of these pressers have been going these days. Here's one. CNN found guilty in a $5 million defamation case. So they're getting smoked. The tables are turning quick here, and CBS has got this huge suit going down with Trump. You're talking over huge money. Now, they're talking about settling, but it's just kind of funny that, CNN found guilty here. So, last month, ABC News agreed to a $15 million settlement with Trump. And they were running these stories with Kamala, and they were doctoring it. They were chopping it up, and they were doing all this stuff. So he sued. And basically, it was proven really quick that they doctored it. And now that he's about to be president, man, all these people are just like, look, let's just settle this. Here's another one. Washington Post cartoonist arrested for possession of child pornography. So, not too surprising coming out of the Washington Post. But just goes to show, you never know. Anyone over there likes the cartoons. You had a potential pedo here. doing it. Now, I thought that this was crazy. History repeats itself. And I don't think that this is just a coincidence. This is all like manufactured for sure. But pretty crazy nonetheless. It is repeating itself. They have gone out of their way to make the Trump thing look a lot like Reagan's in a lot of ways. They wanted people to gravitate to Trump just like Reagan, so they wanted to kind of make that connection. Well, it's been done in more than one way. I'm going to play this clip here because I was thinking about it tonight, and then as I was thinking about all this, like, man, this is too much. I see this clip. Where Kaylee is talking about everything I was thinking, basically, here.
You look at this. This has happened twice from what I've researched, 1909 with Howard Taft and then 1985 with Ronald Reagan. And what's interesting to me is the Ronald Reagan comparison, because not only is the inauguration indoors, you have the hostage release, really right before Trump comes in. You had the assassination attempt, Ronald Reagan as well. Trump is kind of a Reagan-esque president in more ways than one.
And I think that what this represents, too, is that you don't have to do something just because that's how it was always done. Here's a president that, to me, hallmarks his decision-making in the same way, which is, let me assess the current situation. Here are the factors. It's not tenable to be outside, so we're going to move it inside. I mean, we see this stuff often with other large events, and I think the reality is that the storied history of this and the solemnity and the iconography that we're all going to be watching and how important and crucial this event is, all of that remains the same. And now everyone's going to be a lot more comfortable. And we don't have to look at Bernie Sanders memes and mittens on, right? The reality is...
So, yeah, the last time they switched this whole thing up was under Reagan, okay? That's one of the main comparisons right there. And Trump basically just did this. He orders the inauguration to be moved indoors due to dangerous conditions. Now, you could read into this a couple different ways. On the surface, they're trying to say it's because of the cold air, the bitter cold, and all that. So they're moving everything indoors for the ceremonial stuff. So this will be different than his last inauguration, of which I was there, and the mall was packed. And he said, I don't know how this is all going to shape up now. This shifts things around. So it's moved indoors due to these dangerous cold conditions, but other people are like, you know, though, wonder what's really going on. Was there more to it than what is being said? Because looky here, local police are refusing to help secure the Trump inauguration. With like the 40,000 military and police and everybody that's going to be there, you have, in all the police support that Trump's got, you've got locals up there, you're telling me, not willing to do the job? What, are we going to see some kind of stupid lapse on, like, the guys didn't see him climb up on the roof type of stuff here? I don't know, man. But authorities that are willing to protect the place, they're saying that they're preparing for the worst case scenarios. Okay? Worst case scenarios, anything that can happen going down. And look at this. There's a long list of Democrats all of a sudden skipping the inauguration. They're not calling it a boycott, but a whole bunch of people are not showing up here. Now, I'm telling you, this reminds me of 9/11. Do you know of all the people, thousands of people that called off work and did not show up that day? Well, all these people all of a sudden aren't showing up for this event, and it's a lot. What was just like one here, two there, whatever, it spiraled out of control to where it's just like all these people now. So AOC saying, and some people are like, oh yeah, the hell with her. Well, Nancy Pelosi and her family, all them, they're just all skipping the inauguration. People that, in other words, were there last time, even though, their side lost and everything else, but all these people are like, nah, we're not coming. Big Mike says, ain't coming. He's like, hold up, man. Hold up. Hold up, man. Now, we're hearing all this talk about divorce rumors between Obama and Michelle. Who knows? Who knows what's the truth of all this crap out here, and where it goes, man. They're not going to jail, I can tell you that. I think Bill Gates is having dinner with Trump at Mar-a-Lago. I don't see none of them in jeopardy of jail or anything else. And look here. Trump taps John Voight, Mel Gibson, and Sylvester Stallone as Hollywood ambassadors to usher in a new golden age of Hollywood. What? Like what? I don't know, man. I feel that there's going to be a lot going on with these strike teams. Day one. I mean, just tonight as I was going live, I kicked out that information. So it's like people are gearing up. The guys participating that work in these strike teams, they're getting the word. They're being told, look, gear up, get ready, because day one, like Inauguration Day, we're going out and we're starting this in these cities. So there's about to be some huge stuff going on. Remember, Trump is issuing a national emergency. In just 3 days, it all begins. Like, what? Like, how long will a national emergency last if you're going to war with the cartels and you're trying to round people up? Like, you could be trying to round them up forever. Smells like a trap. It's one big trap. So Tijuana declares an emergency. Why would they do that? There's people there all day, every day, all the time. It's seen influxes of people like you couldn't imagine to pile up there trying to get into the United States. But now all of a sudden, I mean, you think people are just going to get kicked out en masse on day one? Yeah, I can see some people. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know how this is. He's talking about using the military full scale on the cartels, like in striking positions. This turns our border into a front line. So yeah, I would be declaring an emergency too, because Tijuana is on the front line. It's on the front line. So, House passes a bill to deport all the illegal aliens that sexually assault women and abuse children. 145 Democrats voted no. I mean, this is when the argument goes up against them and it becomes left, right, or Republican, Democrat. I mean, when you see things like this, it's like, what? Like, and Todd, thank you for the coffee. God bless. Right back at you. We're in crazy times, that's for sure. We turn it down. The Dems voting no. You know, they would much rather have these animals here, obviously. They supported all of it. Raping and killing. All right, so apparently, Kristi Noem may be the selection here for Homeland Security. And apparently there's a special program that has helped a lot of these illegals get in here, if you guys don't know. There's this app, and they could have shut it down before. If they would have shut it down before, they couldn't have used the app to get in any longer. And this has been a problem that's been, like, known, and no one's done anything about it, especially the Biden regime. So listen to what Holly says here about this.
About CBP One, the phone app that I've called concierge service for illegal immigrants. I'm sure you're familiar with it. This was the Biden administration's effort to allow asylum seekers to apply ahead of time using their phones, but not actually to provide any evidence that they needed asylum. There was a newspaper report, a press report that said the only problem with the app is it never asks users, are you seeking asylum? They don't ask for any asylum evidence. They simply release these so-called asylum seekers who use the app into the country on parole. Sometimes they're never given a hearing. The Inspector General actually did a report, a full investigation report on CBP One, and found that frequently users of this app were claiming the same addresses in the United States as their intended destination, even though they didn't know each other, they weren't family connections. In other words, it has been completely abused. And the idea that the federal government would pay for this kind of concierge service for illegals, I think is outrageous. Will you end the use of the CBP One app?
Yes, Senator, if confirmed, and I have the opportunity to be secretary on day one, CBP One will be shut down. There's
So you can see who they're looking to make the secretary, her. Okay? She wondered why Trump was out there and they were putting out stories, dropping the breadcrumbs all these months ahead of time with Kristi Noem, or just headlines with her, and also with Carrie Lake. And even though she didn't win whatever in her state, they've taken these roles within his administration. And it's because they're all likable characters, and that's all this is really about. If they're faces that are liked by the majority of the masses, then they've won in their opinion, in their minds. Then they've got you fooled. They've got just like what they call an all-star bunch now here around Trump this time around. Just from RFK, Elon in the wings, like just all these people just trying to just rock star it out. But you may fool no one here. It's kind of odd though that when things happen here in America, it has a ripple effect. Trump doing this deportating of everyone is affecting places. We've seen Italy already making a change. Germany just stepped up and started talking about it. And now Sweden is going to change the Constitution to remove citizenship from fraudulent migrants and start shipping them out of there. So this is going to be a big wave back in the other direction. And how's this going to go down? I'm telling you, it's going to be battles. It's going to be fighting. It's going to be pretty chaotic. They're not going to all go easy. Looky here. Old Trump says he's against all this and that, and Hillary for president, and down there dining with Bill Gates in Mar-a-Lago. He's going to address Davos, the World Economic Forum, in Rothschild, Klaus Schwab, just days after the inauguration. You know, if it was everything that it seemed, this place should be getting ran up on for these guys to be arrested for treason. And thank you, John. It's all good. Much love. Right back at you. Turn it back down. Man, the world's a stage, man. Jesuit command. If he's not going on a teleprompter and a TV screen telling everybody in that room, get ready, you're going to jail, blah, 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 then and it's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. These guys are known criminals, elite criminals out there. The global boss hogs in here. He ain't touching them. I'm telling you, man. Fool me once, Fool me twice. I've been here. I've been through this. I learned the first time. I don't not learn from something like that. Like, yeah, you fooled us. You said Hillary for president, and it was just a gimmick. So I don't believe nothing else. Yes, sure. Jesus King. Got that Jeff Ford. Thank you. I'm just saying, he's supposed to be coming on some teleprompter, addressing them virtually or whatever. He should be saying, you're going to jail, like you're going all this, and have choppers swooping in as he's saying it. None of that's going to happen. World's a stage. And the FBI seems to be trying to cover their tracks big time. Christopher Wray stepping down and leaving, and then ordering the DEI office to quietly shut down. And then Trump and all of them catch word of it, and they're like, hold on, we're demanding all records be preserved. Because they fear, or they think that they're going to destroy them. They're going to get in there, and all these files are going to be erased. It's all missing, and that's criminal. That's criminal. Of course, if there's any incriminating evidence, they're going to get rid of it and everything else. If that's the case, but again, the world is a stage, man. Now, if something was to happen, it seems the very first people they're going to point the finger at this point is China, because China's everywhere. Christopher Wray just said in his interview that China is embedded in every aspect of our infrastructure. And he said civilian infrastructure. He said in telecommunications and transportation, in banking, in the energy, in the grid, in the water, everything you could think of. Healthcare, everything. Everything. But yet they're not trying to remove it or get it out. This is a setup. This is a huge setup. And I feel like our government and China are in cahoots. Like they're in on this together. And we've been sold out a long time ago. And there's no way they're that embedded in this country if it wasn't. But yet millions of them are in here. They slipped across the border. Just here tonight, I caught word that in Florida, they just found a bunch of Chinese that they were trying to smuggle in. They came in Florida, off the coast, in a boat, up a back waterway in a river, hopped out off these boats, and then ran and got in this big old box truck. But people seen them. They called the police, they pulled them over, and they found all these Chinese trying to smuggle into the country again. Getting dropped off by boat down there in Florida. It's like people, man. Like, it's going down. So look at this. Again, it's China. What's it say? Treasury Secretary Yellen's computer among 400 systems hacked by China. They're everywhere. They're in everything. And it almost feels defeating. You're like, how can China have this much of an upper hand? But then you think about it, there's only one way. Someone let them. We've been sold out. Yeah. And they've agreed to play the bad guy, be on the other side of this. On the world stage, as this whole thing goes down, it's the only way it could go. Russia also a major factor, but China is huge. Dude, they're going to do something here any moment, anytime, and they're probably going to pay. Well, I don't know. They can point the finger at anybody, right? It doesn't matter. Russia, Iran, China, they're all on the same team at this point. But Trump apparently acts like he's got this good relationship with Xi Jinping, and they're hoping for a reset in relations. Well, get all your people out of our country that are in here. It's not going to happen. We're about to get hit. If things go, I don't know, man. Does it even matter? Does it even matter? It seems like it's destined to go this way. Here we've got a U.S. ambassador revealing that the deteriorating relationship with China is worse than previously known.
Ambassador Burns, this is perhaps your last interview here in Beijing, so let me just jump
And
right in.
I'm not going to play
here
the
and
whole thing, but this guy goes on to Nicholas Burns saying that it's bad, that they have a completely different way of thinking. The CCP in China and them, in terms of trying to get to a peaceful agreement with the West, their ideological thinking and like the way they say how people should be treated is different. It's, some would call it inhumane and just not right. But look, this is a China that took the guns from their people and killed millions. Just lined them up in ditches and dropped them. That's what you're dealing with if you need a history lesson. And they're here. Their people are here, embedded all over the place. And that's pretty freaking scary, man. It's not millions of Russians, millions of Iranians. It's millions of Chinese are here. It's concerning. They're everywhere. And what's Biden do? He apparently bans imports from 37 Chinese companies. Now, who's this going to hurt? This is probably going to hurt everyone out there that needs something that's coming from China. It's going to hurt you more than you realize, the everyday people. Because he's in China's pocket. We know he's had these deals going on with China, going on with Hunter, all this Burisma, all of it. He's done in bed with them. So, like, this whole thing's a setup. What's this? Russia and Iran signed a 20-year defense deal 3 days before inauguration. So, if you mess with Iran now, if they try to go to war with Iran, it's Russia. Same deal. Tit for tat. And then China's going to slide right up on in there. These are the sides of World War. That's it. And like, it's about to go really bad. Full scale, really bad. In terms of wars. Or Trump's going to come along and try to play this man of peace. And I think it's what he's doing. And the Gentile Messiah is going to go around the world. And he's going to go to every setting trying to set up peace. And he just did it. He just started it. Of all places, with Israel. He just went over and, like, you know, they're like, he strong-armed Netanyahu and whatever he did. He talked him into a deal. Well, there's one. Right there. Right there's one peace deal. He got them to do that. That's one. What's the other one? He's saying he's definitely going to stop this whole thing with Ukraine. He is set to meet with Putin and all them almost immediately. And revitalize the whole situation and then spark a peace plan with Ukraine. If he could do that, they're going to hail him as like, you know, like, oh, like they're going to be bound down, like no one could do it. Only Trump could do it. You know what I'm saying? And that'd be two peace things right there. Two big war fronts on the world stage that he will be getting credit for. Do you see? So I'm just saying, man, I don't see how they strike Iran at this point in any capacity without having to deal with Russia, like you just seen. Yeah, they have no conscience. It's an evil world, man. Look, any moment there's going to be disclosure as well. Remember this. Any moment. It's supposed to be before inauguration. All this stuff is going to be released. The coming days are going to be very, very interesting. That's for sure. Now that the whole venue's been changed up, switched up last minute, and all this stuff for the inauguration, that's very interesting. All this stuff going into motion. I guess head on a swivel, as I always say. Yeah, many will be deceived in the end. Yeah, get ready, man. Well, I guess that brings me here to a close here for the show. Look, I can't stress enough. Guys, get ready for this cold front coming through. Hugo, thank you to the fullest. Wow. So Monday, we come back for the next stream. It will be on the 19th. Right, hold on a second. Let me check everything here. Check out my days right. Yes or no? No. It'll be on Monday, the 20th. What was I thinking? I guess Trump's having some kind of party, a celebration party on the 19th. Everyone was saying that 119 mirrors 9/11, you know? So, yeah, I see that. But man, no. 20th on Monday. We're back. And, boy, oh boy, it's fitting to be an interesting one. Y'all stay safe out there. Watch the channel here for videos. I'll be dropping videos. Anything that pops off. Also posting over on X. Any breaking stuff. And just trying to stay on top of it. If you guys got anything you need to get to me, dabu7@yahoo.com is the email. I want to thank all you guys for joining me here for another one. All you guys that share the stream. All you guys that support the show. It's appreciated more than you know. Yeah, man. Check the chat here. Carly, RJ, Keith, Scott, Warlock. Again, thank you, Heidi. Yellow Dog and Jeff, thank you. My Knights. Wayne the Pain. NJ Prepper. Gabe. Much love. appreciate it. To the fullest, man. Take us out of here on some music. Let me guess. Oh, man, Lowrider checking in. 5 coffees, much love. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate the support. To the fullest, man. I hope all is well, Lowrider. I hope to see you in the flesh again someday, brother.